Welcome everyone to the Pantheon. I am Ray,
I'm Evie.
and today, what are we looking at? I keep jumping. I apologize. Well, what are we looking at today, Evie?
2016 version of what's his name? Doctor Strange.
That's right, starring
Yeah,
Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong, Rachel McAdams,
yeah,
a Mads Mikkelsen, and
mm,
is that everyone else? Yeah,
yeah,
and and Chiwetel Elijah for. Did I say it right?
yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
No, I mean, I was thinking of him from Red Belt because he's a good martial artist. So
Yeah, he
it's
is.
it's a pretty good cast. Oh, and of course, Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One.
Yeah,
Um,
I like her
Evie, give us the rundown of this movie.
as a doctor. Making a lot of money. Very upright and boastful. He thought to actually himself like that he was the guy until he got into a car accident,
Hmm.
and his hands were damaged pretty much.
Yeah.
So he couldn't um, be a doctor because he couldn't operate. So he went to Nepal to find himself,
Mhm.
and I won't give the rest away.
For him, Benedict Cumberbatch was the only person for this role.
Mm,
And Feige, once he heard that pitch, thought so only. And so Cumberbatch, who was doing Hamlet at the time, couldn't do the
mm,
filming right away.
right.
But once he was finished or was able to got some space from his theater performance of Hamlet,
Mm,
they almost waited a full year for his availability to do this
well,
movie. Yeah, which is
um,
unheard of.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, okay. So what else? The special effects is top tier. It's just
Mhm,
mind bending. I think we were speaking about this before we got to shoot this thing off camera. That it's one of the most mind blowing, mind bending, cutting edge technology that you've seen. The Now, one of the criticisms I'll go up front is that they say, well, Inception came first 7 years before this movie, which is very true. Which was a movie from what's the director of Inception?
It was Christopher Nolan.
Right, Christopher Nolan. And what makes this different from the Nolan movie is that they also utilize the idea of time.
Hmm.
Really using the time, bending time, spin or manipulating time in conjunction with the special effects of this mirror world.
Hmm.
So they really expanded on what Inception did and went further,
Hmm.
even though it's 7 years later. So
Hmm.
they
Yeah,
improved that.
for sure.
That's where it does well. I think Cumberbatch's performance, him being such an intriguing character, and I think the supporting characters was really amazing too. I think Rachel McAdams did playing a character who didn't settle for him, like if because of his attitude,
Hmm.
she was better than this, so she didn't need a man. She could go on without him. You know,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so having a strong female archetype was amazing.
Hmm.
Choosing Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One,
Hmm.
another twist, if you want to call it, but again, a very
Yeah.
strong archetype to have. Um, and there's some really, and I think one of the best scenes of this movie, on a thematic level as well as just a visual level, is with Tilda Swinton.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I liked the scenery. The
Mhm.
special effects were good.
Great.
And it made sense, like it flowed,
Okay.
it wasn't like here and there. It had
Okay.
a strong story, and I like that. And I can, yeah, sometimes people get pushed to the dark side,
Mhm.
like to know like what's going on. And yeah, and they become evil, I would say,
Mhm.
because they don't know like what's going on and they want to be better or just totally selfish and do things their way.
Great.
So
Okay, because I was saying that, like when I heard his point of view, like basically, I because like no villain sees himself as no villain sees himself as a villain. They see themselves as a hero of his own story, you know.
yeah.
So what he was doing was noble and act. Like there was some nobility in it. It made sense. It wasn't like
Mhm. For him,
evil
yeah.
for evil's sake, right? So that's why I was sort of, even though I don't agree with the end of what he was going to do, I just thought
Mm.
his reasoning behind it made sense, kind of like Thanos, but Thanos,
Yeah.
I kind of like, it's a completely different level of thinking, but it's
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
um, so that's why I sympathize with the character. When they got to the point where he got that jacket that kind of binding him together,
Yeah. Hmm.
that's when he was able to reveal his side of the story. You know. Oh, speaking of that sequence, what do you think of the cape?
I like the cape. That was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
right.
You know,
And
came on him, and yeah,
because
you
that's where
know,
you had the most comedic sequences, where like the cape was trying to, like he's going for
yeah,
the axe, and the cape was stopping him going for the axe.
yeah.
So what was your favorite special effects sequence?
Especially any of them, where the buildings folded,
Mhm.
like they become the ceiling, and the ceiling um, became the floor.
Right.
Also, what else did I like? I like the special effects with the round portals that they had to go through.
All right. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
just thought that was really, really cool and outstanding.
And
Hmm.
it wasn't until we get to the last moments of the ancient one where that theme of pushing one's existence and to the end
Hmm.
it is realized, and it's in that speech. So if you ever watch that sequence, everyone who's seen the movie will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's about you do it for love. It's about doing it for something that's bigger, an idea bigger than yourself,
Hmm.
and being able to sacrifice for something yourself for something bigger than yourself. And
Yeah, for sure.
and he had to literally be on the other side of it, which is
Hmm.
the astral world, to
Right. Yeah.
learn that
Hmm.
lesson, and being there when the passing. So that's one of the, on a thematical level, that's probably one of the biggest important sequences you'll see in the movie on
Hmm.
an intellectual level.
Right.
But time, like the idea of his watch, where it's the one thing he was getting robbed that he kept. It's the
Hmm.
one that
Yeah.
his girlfriend gave him. And he wrote in his email, if we had more time, so the idea of
Hmm.
time was just, it's an ongoing theme. And of course,
Okay.
it's a theme that brings it back to Endgame, where there's only one way out of this,
Hmm.
and he
Right.
saw that one way. And of course, we as the audience don't know this until like 5 years later,
Right. Right. Yeah. It's
So
true.
in the end, which was the end game. So
Mhm.
I thought that was really, really cool. I thought his portrayal of the character was really interesting. And overall, I just enjoyed it. I thought it was good in the sense that if you, the character can be is a character that you can really hate
Hmm.
because of his ego, but
Yeah.
I think Cumberbatch really showed you a good balance, and I think Benedict Wong, it was amazing. It
Hmm.
was he actually didn't play the character stereotypically. I thought he was an equal
Yeah.
to Strange,
Mhm.
and he gave the most surprising comic relief at the end.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's my thoughts. Okay, anything else before we go?
I don't think so. No, I don't know. I'm good.
And
You
now
good?
I'm good. So you know what I'm going to say next, right?
Hmm.
And
Okay.
that is
You can contact us through email,
right.
www dot pantheonofm.com,
That's the website.
and Twister, and
Twister.
Twitter, Twitter,
Right.
and all the other stuff. No, I'm just
Well, no,
kidding.
it's true. Well, if you go to our website at www.pantheonofm.com,
Yeah.
I do a weekly blog.
Yeah.
You can check out. You send us an email. Let us
Yeah.
know where you're from geographically, and give us your name, and then give us a comment of any MCU film that we have left to review, like
Yeah.
Endgame and Infinity War and Far
Yeah.
From Home.
Yeah.
Those
Exactly.
are like we'll be reviewing those films in a few months. So let us know your thoughts of any of those films. We'll be reading out your comments on those shows.
Exactly.
Coming
Yeah.
up. And
Good
if you want,
job.
yeah, and if you want to listen to it, and you listen to the audio of this particular one, and to get to the audio portion, check out our website, and we'll be reading out the emails for review for Doctor Strange. So with that, I'm Ray.
And I'm Effie.
We'll talk to you next week. Take care.
Good job.